We're all searching for it, or people. The ones you can call when you're at the end of your rope. The ones you ask for advice in a difficult stage or deciding on which jeans to buy. The ones who you share dreams and hopes with, who get you to the gym and love your kids like their own. Motherhood was never meant to be a solitary role, and now it doesn't need to be. Here we discuss everything from our favorite kidisms to mental wellness to our best mom hacks and more. Mamas are world changers, and it's time to stop bearing that responsibility alone. So whether you're driving carpool, rocking a sleeping baby, or doing dishes, we're here for you. Welcome to the Village.
Hello, welcome to episode 3 of the Village podcast. So excited you're still listening. Today we are going into part 2 of nervous system regulation. And today we're going to be talking about staying in that parasympathetic state, that rest and digest resilient state. If you haven't listened to episode 2 yet, I highly recommend going back to that because it will lay the foundation for understanding this episode and more episodes moving forward where we will dive more into regulation and helping your kids regulate and all the amazing nervous system things. This is very much going to be you can't pour from an empty cup, which it's a cliche for a reason, but it's really, really important. And hopefully as you understand your nervous system, you'll understand why it's so important and how much of an impact filling yourself up first can make. So I want you to think of yourself as a battery. As you go throughout your day, your battery drains, and there might be things that drain it more. Some days might be easier and it doesn't drain quite as far, but every day it's going to drain just as you're using energy and life happens. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what happens, right? So if we can start our day fully charged, we're going to have a lot more to give. Just like with your phone, if you have your phone plugged in at night, it fully charges and you can use it all day long. Where those times when you forgot to plug it in or it didn't fully get plugged in, but you thought it did. Same thing with our capacity for the day, with our energy, with all the things. So if we can start our day fully charged, we're much more likely to show up the way we want to as a mom and to get all the things done that are on our to-do list as a caregiver and as a homemaker. There are really 5 top things that are going to charge your battery the most. And they are sleep, food, movement, light, and connection. So we're going to talk about each of these and kind of what that might look like to fully charge your battery. So the first one is sleep. If you're listening, you likely have young kids. So do I. I know that sleep can sometimes be one of the hardest things to do. And so I want to recognize that getting a full night's sleep may not be in the cards right now, and that's okay. But what are things you can do? Can you go to bed a little bit earlier? I know I'm so guilty of knowing that my baby's going to wake up in the night and I'm going to have to take care of her, or I have an early morning, and yet I still stay up and read a book or scroll through Instagram or whatever I end up doing that is truly not needed at 11 o'clock at night when I really need the sleep. So do the best you can, but also be very aware of how you actually are spending your time. Because, like I said, this is one of the most impactful things to charge your battery and to show up as the mom you want to be the next day. Second is food. The leftovers off of your toddler's plate do not count. I promise you can find something in your fridge within just a few minutes that will actually fill you, because a couple quesadilla slices or an apple slice or half a chicken nugget is not going to cut it. It's just not going to. We have to fuel our bodies. So eating food that is going to fuel you and enough of it. All right, number 3 is movement. And I want to be very clear here that movement does not mean you have to go to the gym 5 days a week and work out. If that's what you want to do, that is awesome. I am totally in my gym era right now, and I absolutely love it. It totally helps that I have a friend that picks me up 3 to 4 out of 5 of those gym days. It doesn't matter what the movement looks like. A walk counts. A dance party in your kitchen for 3 minutes. A spin bike totally counts. A yoga YouTube class in your bedroom totally counts. Move your body however feels good, however much time you have. 3 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, it doesn't matter. Move your body. It will charge you so much more than you think. All right, number 4 is light. Light is so important, especially in the morning. If we can get real light, not artificial light, better if you can get it not through a window, but let the light in. Go outside for 2 minutes and just sit there and enjoy being outside. That's kind of the other part of light, is light and nature kind of go together and are super impactful, again, especially first thing in the morning. There's so much research on what it can do specifically within the first 5 minutes of your day. I know that's not always feasible and definitely isn't as enjoyable when it's still the dead of winter. But the more light and outside time you can get, the better it's going to be for you. And the last one is connection. And this can be connection with people. This can be connection with an animal. This can be connection with God. This can be connection with yourself. So this might look like Marco Poloing a friend. This might look like snuggling your baby. This might look like giving your husband a hug before he leaves for work. This might look like journaling and getting your thoughts out and writing down some things you're grateful for. This might look like scripture study and prayer. This might look like meditation. Whatever you're going to do, whatever sounds enjoyable to you is going to be most impactful because you will actually do it. So again, those 5 things are sleep, food, movement, light and time outside, and connection. So if we can start our day with little bits of these 5 things, or 3 of these 5 things, any of these 5 things, you are going to start your day out more fully charged. You're going to have a more full battery that's going to last longer throughout the day. And this is why morning routines are preached so heavily, is because it puts you in a place to win your day. I don't always get to my morning routine in the morning. Sometimes my morning routine happens at noon. Sometimes it happens at 4 o'clock. And sometimes I am getting my last few things in at 9:30 at night. These things are going to have the biggest impacts if you can do them all in the morning, because again, you start your day fully charged. But anytime you do them, it is going to charge your battery. If we can come back to any of these things when we're feeling that battery drain out, when we're feeling on the verge of moving over into that stress cycle, if we can do one of these 5 things, you're automatically going to move that battery charge up. And so that's kind of the second part I wanted to talk about, is recharging throughout the day. Those 5 things are great things to start with to recharge. Another way you can look at recharging is through 2 lenses. Do you need to relax or release? And so I want you to think about, as you are moving into that stress response where you feel that lava rising, where you feel your anger like getting to the top, where you are about to yell at your kids or at the dog or at your husband or whatever it is. Do you feel tense, or do you feel like you're going to explode, like you have an excess of energy? If you're feeling tense, you need to relax. And so that might look like something as simple as relaxing the muscles in your face. So your forehead and your jaw are going to be the biggest spots there. Dropping your shoulders and letting your stomach unclench. If you go through those 4 spots right now, chances are you're a lot more tense than you realize. If you're in a place where you can just like completely flop on the bed, think about Toy Story when the toys are all doing their thing and they see Andy's coming and they all just flop right where they are. So either those little spots, or if you can fully relax your body, so much of that tension will release. Another way to do it is if you feel like you're a pressure cooker and you need to let the steam out, you need a release. That might look like screaming into a pillow. Movement is one of the best ways to do this, again, that can be a dance party in your kitchen. Maybe that's going and punching a pillow. That's one thing I tell my kids is when they get really angry, one of my sons tends to he almost starts to shake when he's super angry. And I tell him, okay, go punch a pillow. And he does that and it automatically cools him off. You just see the tension releasing from him. So if you're feeling tense, you need to relax. If you're feeling an excess of energy, you need to release. So today's takeaways is I want you to pick one thing to focus on to start your day fully charged. So again, those 5 things were sleep, food, movement, light and outside, and connection. Start with one thing that you can do in the morning. And this does not need to be a full hour-long morning routine. 2 minutes or 5 minutes is going to make a difference for you. So start with one thing to start your day out charged. And then if you can pick one thing to do to recharge throughout the day, whether that's setting an alarm at a particularly stressful time, like maybe at the end of naps before you start making dinner, or whether that's just picking what you're going to do when you feel like you're about to explode. Pick something that's going to help you recharge throughout the day so that you can make it through the day on more than just fumes. This piece has been so helpful for me. I have about 5 alarms that go off during the day that just say regulate. And it's just a chance for me to recharge my battery really quick. And sometimes I'm feeling really good when those alarms go off. And sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, it's time for a little reset. And I'm able to take a few breaths or relax my body. And all of a sudden I have a little bit more energy to get through the next part of my day. Last thing for today is our magic in the mundane moment. So the other day I was picking my son up from preschool and standing there talking to his teacher, and he wanted to be held. And so I picked him up, and he's my snuggly kid. He just snuggled in, and I was just holding him as I was chatting with her. And all of a sudden she stopped the conversation and she was like, can I just take a picture of you and I'll send this to you? And took a picture of me holding him. And it seriously was the sweetest thing. And part of it was just the magic of, oh, let me take your picture, because how often do we get those really in the moment pictures with our kids? Because usually we're the ones taking the pictures. And so I was so grateful that she did that. But also I just love those moments where my kids snuggle in and they still get to be little. And I just get to enjoy that. And I get to be mommy, like that progression out of mama and mommy is so sad. It's so awesome to watch them grow up, but sometimes I just wish they were still little, and it was that moment for me. So that was super magical. If this episode was helpful for you, the reset is still open until February 9th. This is my signature program that walks you through what your nervous system is, how to regulate it, how to come out of a stress cycle when you're in the middle of it, and how to teach your kids to regulate as well. And then we dive more into the mindset piece and starting to see your circumstances differently so that you're able to stay in that place of resilience longer. If you're interested in this, the link is in the show notes, or come over to Instagram. There's a lot more information over there, and please message me. I'd love to chat with you about it.
Thanks for joining me on this week's episode. I would love to hear your thoughts on it, so message me on Instagram at @themissy_allred. There is always room in our village, so if you enjoyed it, will you please send it to a friend or leave a rating and review? Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next episode. Thank you for being here. I'll talk to you next week.